Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Brutes, where we tell the stories behind your favorite beer. This is Sound Guy Ryan, and joining me, as always, is Erica and Matt.
Hello, everybody. We are here at a very, very secret location.
So secret.
It might not even be the same secret location in last week's episode, or maybe it is.
You wouldn't know.
No, just kidding. We're on the Galactic airline, the Virgin Airlines. We spent all the money from our podcast to go to space because that's what good billionaires do. They don't donate it to world hunger. They don't donate it to people that are starving. You know, they go to space.
Because, yeah, why not?
We want to be good entrepreneurs, so we're going to space too. So this episode was recorded in space.
Duh.
Nah, I'm just kidding. We're here at Notch again. It's local, and we drink local.
That's what we do.
But this episode is not local. Who's the
It's
the
not.
guest this week?
No, we talked to Short Fuse.
That's right. They're out of Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Schiller Park, Illinois, to be exact, which
specific.
I have never been to Schiller Park.
Neither have I, but I'm looking forward to stopping by one day.
I've been to parks before, so I'm sure it's cool.
Really? I think they're probably similar.
All parks are very similar. Yeah, yeah. I found that out. They usually have like a jungle gym.
Oh, I love jungle gyms.
Jungle gyms are sick. Ryan one time did 47 pull-ups on a jungle gym.
I believe it.
It was crazy.
One time.
Yeah, Ryan used to be super jacked before you knew him.
Before he was a sound guy.
Before he drank beer. Yeah, he was gym guy Ryan.
But anyway, yeah, so we interviewed Craig. I remember him being super smart.
He was super smart.
Super smart. I wrote it in my notes in my Pro Tools. Like, this kid's wicked smart.
Wicked smart. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. So we're going to get to that episode, but keep drinking local.
As always. Yeah.
Also, just be kind to everyone. There's a lot of like negativity we've seen on like social media and all that stuff. So
don't be a poopy
face. Stop being an asshole. Just be nice. And we have an amazing episode announcement for next week, so catch us in the outro.
Cheers.
Erica, do you know that Abraham Lincoln is from this state?
I did, actually.
I
nailed that trivia.
What state are we interviewing this
week? We're in Illinois.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I have lofty goals of going to Chicago.
Ooh.
But, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
But maybe on my way to Chicago, we'll stop at this brewery.
Yeah, I'll take a little stop, a little side trip, side tour.
To where?
To Short Fuse.
That's right. That's where we are today. On our ever lofty goal of getting 50 breweries.
We're getting closer.
We are getting closer.
Yeah.
I'm very proud that we are in Illinois.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
50 breweries in 50 states.
50 breweries in 50 states. That's right. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. You didn't finish, so I thought I'd complete it.
Without Ryan, nothing would sound this good, and we would not have complete thoughts. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So we're here at Short Fuse Beer. Short Fuse. I had a couple beers. Short Fuse Brewing, and we're here with Craig. What's up, Craig?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We are here via Squadcast, of course, but we wish we were there in person.
Indeed.
But we start all our episodes by asking our guests what are their first memory of beer and roll at the brewery. So take it away.
First memory of beer would be like a really warm ice house. That was probably the first bad memory of beer.
Oh my God, ice house. That's a throwback, man.
But then getting into craft beer, I think probably Saison DuPont being like one of my favorites, getting me into that world.
Yeah.
A realm of something that was really different that I hadn't tried before.
Very cool.
That's a great beer. And a roll. What's your roll at the brewery?
So I'm a brewer, slash kind of everything. I brought on, we had like the lead brewer and partner slash head brewer leave, and I kind of got put in charge, and it was a little bit much for me to handle. So I hired our head brewer, Brian. So we kind of basically throw some ideas around, see what sticks, with our owner, Nick, and then he kind of approves or denies certain things. So we basically run this brewery by ourselves. It's a lot bigger than you would think, actually. So.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you mentioned off air you've been at Short Fuse for just a little while. How long have you been there for?
Coming up on 2 years in July. Actually.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how long has the brewery been around for?
I think think we've been around. I think this will be our 5th year.
Pop
actually.
quiz.
Coming up in June and July.
That's
Wow.
July next
awesome.
month.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, when you had that warm ice house, that wasn't a moment in time where you're like, oh, I just want to be in beer.
This is amazing.
This is amazing. And I'm guessing you had that warm ice house in college because that's when I would drink warm ice houses as well. So
Yeah.
how did you disappoint your parents in getting to brewing?
Oh man.
And it's not a disappointment.
The full
It's a very
story.
good career. It's just a joke.
Oh no, but I mean, it was definitely like a running away with the circus kind of moment for sure. So I had just got my EMT license after college, and then I was taking some courses doing that. And then my friend started getting into home brewing, so I would just help him, bottle beer and stuff like that, kind of get the rundown on what was going on. And then he moved away to Vermont, so I kind of had to figure it out by myself. So I started going to the library, renting like some books and stuff like that, and started putting some serious studies into doing that. And then I wasn't so interested in my EMT class anymore. I finished it, but I was like, just doing a lot of stuff on the side. And then basically I just kind of started to think like, is there any way that this could be a viable career? And I think that there was, at least at that time, like a lot of stigma, like, oh, you have to have like a master's in, biochem or something like that. Kind of, it takes a while, but a lot of those things are, learn skills for the most part. So I kind of saw it as more of a viable option, and then went to Siebel,
Awesome.
probably 8 years ago. And I got my first job in packaging and did that for a little while, and
Worked your
moved
way
out
up.
to What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. You kind of worked your way up.
Oh yeah, just worked my way up from there, and then it took longer than I expected for sure. But
Yeah. So where did you cut your teeth before Short Fuse?
So I started at Finch Brewing Company, also in Chicago, and then I would say the job market in Chicago wasn't really. It was mostly like volunteer based. A lot of people would be like, "Come over, we'll give you a case of beer. We need help working for the day." So there weren't a lot of job opportunities here at the time, so I decided to move out to Colorado. Found some good opportunities there, Crooked Stave and Cerebral.
Cool.
And I got a job back here. It seemed like a good opportunity, so I moved back.
Nice.
Nice. Actually,
Yeah.
to kind of backtrack a little bit, you said you went to Siebel. Did you do like kind of the full course? Or you just like a quick, like I think they have like a 2-week course.
Yeah, I did like the. So it's not the master brewer program, but it is the 3 modules that are in Chicago.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And do you feel that really kind of helped you become the brewer you are today?
Yeah, so basically they, I think it does a really good job of kind of, I guess giving you the insight on like thought processes in which you, can be successful. It kind of just gives you like a, kind of like troubleshooting type issues. I don't think that is, everything. I think a lot of my experience comes way more from jobs that I've had and things that I've learned from other people around me, or, other various resources that are online and stuff now.
Yeah, I feel like you could say that with almost any education. Like the real world stuff teaches you a lot more.
Yeah, I hated engineering school, and I learned so much more on the job.
Right.
I completely agree. It's always interesting. I think we see a lot less people going towards an education route in the brewing industry, where if you backtrack, to where you were going, we saw a lot more UC Davis, Siebel educated brewers.
It's kind of like a recent thing, I kind of feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would your word of advice be to people entering the industry? Would you say cut your teeth for a little while in breweries or go for education?
Or both.
Tough. It's a tough one. It really just depends how much money you have in your bank account, really, because
Cool.
Siebel's expensive, UC Davis is expensive.
But so Siebel also doesn't have any. I don't think it's nationally accredited, so you can't take out a loan through anything to go there. You can take out a personal loan, but but I think think I would definitely recommend some type of education. I think that there's a lot of resources out there, whether it just be starting with like, getting certified Cicerone, that type of thing, or, like beer judging is also good, a good starting point as well. It's good to have something to put on your resume to kind of like give somebody the impression that you're serious about what you're doing and you're not just there to hang out.
Oh, I can just hang out and drink beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, around here we have UNH. UNH has a pretty good program.
Yeah, UVM has one as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you were in Colorado. How much different is the beer scene in Colorado than it is in Chicago?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I think that there weren't necessarily a lot of established tap rooms at the time here. And everything more kind of tipped towards like production. Like how do we get a big enough group of investors to get like a national brand out there, which is not the Colorado business model at all. It's completely inverted from that. And even more so, it's like, how do we get everyone from the neighborhood to come in here and appreciate this as a neighborhood place?
Yeah.
So it's very like neighborhood and like community oriented and focused, I would say. And I think the Chicago beer, there are, so many places opening up here, and that it is sort of becoming closer to being in that model.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are also, to expand on that, not just community, I think beer styles differ a lot from the Midwest, at least, to Colorado. I think that hazy IPAs here are like more towards like the lactose sweet end of it.
Interesting.
And which, 6-7 Plato finishing, really sweet. Those seem to be the breweries that are doing really well and selling a lot of hazy IPAs. I would say that like Weldworks, Cerebral, Outer Range, like those are kind of, a little bit drier, a little bit less sweet.
More your West Coast style.
The players demanding that aspect of it, and then like not as many milkshakes and stuff either.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chicago. I think a lot of people know Chicago, and they say like Goose Island, right? And we know that Goose Island is not it's a craft beer or whatever. But what was the Chicago scene like kind of before the craft beer, boom? Was it just kind of like Goose Island and?
Yeah, so it's kind of Goose Island Revolution, Half Acre. A lot of others started popping up, but there wasn't like as big a community at that time, I want to say. I mean, there certainly was, but it wasn't, I guess it wasn't as easy or it wasn't as approachable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the broader variety of everything out there right now is making it a lot more accessible for people to try new stuff. And
definitely.
At least if they're open, they'll probably like something, and not just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get too far into what the Chicago beer scene is like, we have a word from our sponsors. So take it away, Sound Guy Ryan.
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4 Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts. And we're back. Erica, you can say it. What are we?
Oh, we're back in black.
You what, a big AC/DC fan or something?
I don't know. I just felt I just was
felt
feeling
right.
at that moment.
Yeah,
You know, just go with it.
So, Craig, what's your favorite AC/DC? I'm just kidding. We were talking about, how Colorado kind of, differs from the Chicago scene. And you were mentioning, you guys kind of lean towards more, the
sweeter
side
side
of things. But is that kind of what the Chicago area is known for? Or is that what Short Fuse is known for?
I think the Midwest in general is known for that.
Okay.
I think I try to model our IPAs more towards the side of like how I want them to be, and how I'm used to making them, I guess.
Yeah.
So you take what you know and you apply it to your current position. Like these are more modeled, like a lot of the IPAs that we make are more modeled after some of the beers that I've made in Colorado.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking a beer called Berry White. Play on Berry White, I'm guessing. Which is a white pale wheat ale with hints of fruit. And you guys really actually, you have gummy bears on there, and it does taste like gummy bears. It does nail the flavor. Is that kind of what you're speaking to? That sweet but approachable kind of flavor?
Yeah, actually, I think that's one of our more, our more drier beers. I think the gummy bears just kind of put up, like there's not that much sugar in there, but I think the gummy bears kind of give that impression.
Definitely.
So that beer actually pitches, like the yeast from that beer actually pitches every beer in our brewery, with some exceptions, but pretty much all around. Like if we didn't have that beer, we would be working on yeast props like all the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
nice.
That's yeah. So having that as like one of our top sellers is
that's cool.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's in 12-ounce cans.
That we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, we noticed it's in 12-ounce cans. Is that just because is 12-ounce cans more popular in the Midwest, or are you guys doing the 16-ounce?
So that is actually one. We've changed a lot of beers over to 16-ounce. We used to do all of our lagers at 12-ounce, and that's kind of changed this year as well. But I think that the price point just wouldn't work out if we converted it to 16-ounce. So we decided to keep that one. And then we now have 12 packs that available as well.
Which fit better with the 12-ounce cans, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Speaking of lagers, are you guys doing a lot of lagers? We see a big, push in the industry, which
at least on our East Coast area.
Yeah, we've gathered is brewer driven. We think it's really actually just brewer driven of lagers and pilsners, kolsch's. What are you guys doing with that?
So right now we have a Maibach.
Ooh.
Who we released earlier in the year. El Suave is our Mexican lager.
Oh, I love Mexican lager.
We have an Italian Pilsner in the tank too.
What?
And that should be ready. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that should be ready in like a month.
So my question is what makes?
I completely interrupt your.
No, because it's always so funny. We see people say like German Pilsner. What makes a Italian Pilsner an Italian Pilsner?
Okay,
in your opinion.
In your opinion, because we've had other brewers on here are like it's this. So we've had like 15 different opinions.
So I think it comes down to malt. That's like a third of the equation. Weyermann has this malt called Euroclea Pils. It's an Italian malt. It's supposed to be a lot lighter. I used it in a Dortmunder Gold last year, and it was not as malty as like a normal Pilsner. I shouldn't have gotten excited about it then, and I should have waited for the Italian Pilsner craze to come out.
Yep.
But and then just dry hopping schedule, and in my opinion, it should have some should have some body. It should have some body to it. Should be crisp, clean, but a little more malty.
Okay.
I think that honestly, I think that the issue with IPLs was that people just were kind of just not being like all that creative with them. I don't know, or like they were just sitting on the shelf forever, just something like.
Yeah.
Or else I think that this would have taken off a little bit like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, that
So you are you thinking Italian Pilsners? Are you saying Italian Pilsners are taking off? Because I hope you're right.
I think so.
I think they are too.
I see a lot of breweries doing them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen it more often out here too.
Yeah. And if they're done well, it's excellent. Yeah.
What else? Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest is huge in the Midwest. So we actually sold out of a 60-barrel batch like quickly last year.
You guys have a pretty large German community out there, is that right?
Yeah. Especially in Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
it kind of travels everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That
awesome.
makes sense.
We're just gonna have to go for Oktoberfest if we can't go to Germany.
I think so, right? Second best.
Second best, we might as well. So Craig, we always ask our guests, what you kind of mentioned Italian Pilsners, but what other styles do you think are coming down the pipeline?
It's a good question. Obviously, fruited sours are like here to stay.
Seltzers.
Seltzers. I think. Oh, okay. Well, I think they've always been here to stay, but people got sidetracked for a little bit. I think West Coast IPAs are coming back heavily.
Ooh.
Really?
And I do not. It just without the bitterness type thing. Like, have you ever had any beers from Society?
Ooh,
Sure, I have.
Or like Pliny the Elder as well. Like, I'm out in California a lot.
Yeah.
And the more I taste a lot of those beers, the less bitter I think they are.
Okay.
Do you think that's just because your palate's been burnt by so much hop?
You know what? I think that like before everyone was using a lot of crystal malts and those just oxidized pretty quickly and more rapidly.
It was the IBU craze.
And the IBU thing. And I think so we just made one that was only like 45 IBU and then pretty, not as heavy as like a hazy IPA dry hop, but still like a pretty heavy dry hop. And I think it's like way more approachable and drinkable than, something that is, 80, 90 U on the brew house side.
Definitely.
I think something also that is coming down the pipeline too is like how little we know about like IBU pickup as compared to like what is in textbooks. I think we did when I was in Colorado, we did a no hot side edition with hops at all, just knocked out the beer and then just dry hopped it heavily. And it came out to like 80 IBU.
Oh, wow.
Tested in a lab. So I think you can get a lot of IBU. And it wasn't the greatest beer ever, but it was cool. It was cool for experiment.
Right.
Yeah.
If nothing else. So I don't know. I think that if if people can make that style more palatable and approachable and slightly less on the bitterness side, I think that's going to come back a lot.
Do you think it'll be called a West Coast IPA at that point, or are they going to change the name?
We call it a modern IPA.
Ooh,
really?
So modern.
There's something in the middle.
Oh my God, what is it going to be? What's the medal? Someone will get a gold medal for a modern IPA now, or something like that at GABF or.
Yeah.
So we mentioned seltzers, and you kind of laughed. What's your opinion on seltzers? Do you guys brew a seltzer?
What we've done a few seltzers. The issue is with clarifying them.
Always. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to get like we wanted to get the process down. We didn't want to just fruit something heavily and give someone a glass of yeast, and
Enjoy.
Yum.
it's crazy because it doesn't, like the yeast doesn't fall out, and then if you don't really have any filtration, you're going to run into some issues.
Yeah.
Because like normal fining agents don't work, and then if you don't have any method, if you don't have a centrifuge or you don't have any method of filtration, it's going to be tough. We figured out a solution. So we're gonna have to rebrew one here soon.
What's your opinion on them?
I mean, I could do one or two. It's kind of like a cider.
Yeah.
Like a well-made cider. I can do that, but I don't think there's really anything. There's like no craft to it. I don't think.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just like it's just feeding a demand. But
Do you think there could be a craft to it?
I don't know. Because it's just flavorings and extracts.
Yeah.
It's just fine. It's like find your favorite combination of this or that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Goose Island's doing barrel-aged seltzers now, so we'll have to.
I saw.
Yeah, we'll see what that's like. There's a brewery around here that's
man.
doing it too.
And one of my very good friends that got me into brewing is like he's like leading the charge like for R&D and development for that stuff at Goose.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Tim Faith, if you're listening, you're doing a great job. Although I've yet to try one.
Now,
That's great.
Goose Island obviously being kind of the biggest Chicago brewery. I mean, are they kind of part of the scene still? I mean, it's like Sam Adams, right? Like in our area,
Well, Goose Island is actually owned by someone, right? They are InBev.
AB and Bev.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, are they still? I know Sam Adams is not. Yes.
Yeah, technically Sam Adams still owns it.
Oh, Sam Adams. Yeah, but I mean, they're sold throughout the country, like Goose Island.
It's true.
Do they kind of still participate in the same ballpark as you guys, or not really?
Yeah, I think they do a lot of small R&D stuff. So they've been doing a lot of like collaborations and kind of fun stuff and keeping it relevant. I think Revolution's a great example too of that kind of business model of like a huge brewery like 300 barrel fermenters.
Oh, jeez.
Take up an entire street loading them in. And still kind of been able to, put out some stuff that is, things that are interesting that like bring people in.
Yeah. So I'm curious about Short Fuse. You've been there for 2.5 years. What are some of the, you mentioned the Berry White, but what are your flagship beers?
So Lucy Juicy's are like house hazy IPA.
Lucy Juicy, that's a good name.
And let's see. One of my first projects I did here it's a beer called Tropical Hurt Locker. It's kettle sour. It's like a small amount of lactose. It's not that much where it's really overpowering, sweet, and noticeable. That's the passion fruit raspberry. Demand for that's grown a lot. We're actually doing 60 barrels of it this week. So
Holy cow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Then we have a lot of seasonals, like Guava Margarita goes. That's typically our seasonal. And then in the fall, we did a Dunkelweiss for our seasonal. That ended up being really good.
A Dunkelweiss?
Yes.
Interesting. So not a Dunkelweizen. Same thing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting
so that
caught up here.
that actually won a gold at like the U.S. Beer Open.
Oh, cool.
I think that competition's out in New York.
Yeah.
That one did really well. Let's see what else. We've been doing a lot of kettle sours. I've been messing around with this yeast a lot that does basically gives you like a lactic acid drop in fermentation that is similar to kettle souring, but without tying up your kettle.
Interesting.
For 3 days. So we did one of those that watermelon Sour Patch Kids and like some watermelon concentrate. It's actually like I was not that excited to like plan that out and do it, but it came out really, really well. I already know that that's going to be
That's awesome.
on the schedule a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because it doesn't really give like that full like complexity and flavor of a traditional kettle sour. It's just it's kind of like clean, really dry, and kind of it's really, really approachable, I think.
What is the yeast strain, out of curiosity, if you don't mind?
There's a few out. One's called Philly Sour.
Oh yeah.
The other one is I think it's Lallemande, Sour Vissier.
Yeah.
So you like co-pitch that with, like we use USO5 or like Chico.
Right.
Co-pitch that, and then it will give you like a progressive drop. Like your knockout pH is, like going to the fermenter at the same pH, and then just kind of drops from there.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's clearly been a demand forever because my boss is like, we can't just be tying up the brew house all the time. I'm like, I know.
Speaking of the brew house, how big of a system are you guys brewing on?
We're on a 30 barrel.
Nice.
It's kind of challenging because our boil kettle is exactly 30 barrels. So if we like
perfect
over sparge or under sparge, that's kind of it. But so it makes experimentation fun. But it works well for us, like size wise. Could be a little bit bigger, but
you'll get there.
We max it out in the winter for all. We've been spent a lot of time this winter just filling up barrels, pretty much.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of barrel aged things are you doing?
There's a long list. One.
Your favorite then?
I can tell you. Well, we did barley wine.
Yeah.
Like more of traditional English barley wine, and not.
Cool.
I did a Belgian stout.
Ooh.
So Belgian Abbey yeast, so kind of, and then a lot of malts and some candy syrup that would accentuate like raisin, like dark raisin characteristics, plum, fig. And then I put those into 3 different kinds of cognac barrels. One of them were actual cognac barrels, and then one of them was an X whiskey, and one of them was an X. There's another one in there.
Okay.
But I'm actually excited to see how it turns out. I think it'll be nice.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And something, kind of different from the usual offering.
Oh, definitely.
So, Craig, we kind of touched upon it earlier, some of your feelings about, some trends in the brewing industry. But I'm curious to find out what frustrates you in the brewing industry. But our listeners are going to have to wait until our sponsor bump to find out.
Take it away, Sound Guy Ryan.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brute sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
All right, so we're back. Craig, we are curious, what frustrates you in the brewing industry as it stands today?
Oh, man.
Tell us your feelings.
Feelings. If you had just said, tell me your feelings, that's something really different. I think, oh yeah, this is a good one. I think there's a lot of, like kind of in this is like an old man on a ledge kind of thing. Like, I think there's a lot of entitlement going around right now, and I don't think people are as willing to work their way up as they once were.
Yeah.
And kind of put in their time to do stuff. I think we interviewed an applicant. He's like, okay, like for seller. And he's like, yeah, I want to make $30 an hour. I was like, oh, okay. You're right back to you.
Yeah, Sellerman, $30 an hour.
Availability of cans. There are a lot of like frustrating things during COVID that were kind of not as fun to deal with, but solutions for every problem. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think maybe like the availability of or people's willingness to make things that are actually like interesting and fun, but like difficult, that would challenge them. That's not necessarily like, I don't really see many like there's certain breweries that have this niche, but I don't think a lot of people are doing many saisons anymore.
Agreed.
Agreed.
We don't see many out here either.
I think there's obviously some classifications genetically that come with that, because they diastatic positive. So I think everyone's scared. They're just as scared to bring that into the brewery as they are to bring other,
like sour
bread,
things. Yeah.
Brett, lactopedia, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I think there is kind of like some type of fear going on with that right now.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would love to see that change, because I love a good saison.
I do too. Farmhouse style, anything. Yeah. If there is a beer style that you could eliminate forever, what would that beer style be?
That's aggressive.
That's a really good question. I don't know. They're kind of all my little children, I can't just toss one out the back door.
That's cute. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
Done.
That's it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So then, do you have a favorite hop then?
Yeah, I think there's some interesting. I really liked Brew 1 last year. Just kind of massive pineapple character. Strata came out last year. That was really good. Meridian's really nice. I think there's a lot more innovation on the hop side now. So there's
definitely,
whether it's like Incognito or Lupo Max or whatever, just types of like concentrated, hop pelletization. And I think there's a lot of options of things to do there as well. I think we're not so limited in our options anymore, and not everything is being as covered up by, extreme bitterness and
right,
that type of stuff. So I think finally getting to play around with stuff a lot.
Do you have a favorite ingredient? Like, are hops your favorite, or is it, you think, yeast or water, or not something your favorite, like maybe most important, or?
Yeah, I would say hops for sure.
Yeah, nice.
It's fun to play around with. We have like a little grinder on the table, so like I'll get samples and like crush them up and smell them. Yeah. And I think it's fun getting other people's opinions on what they think about those too before we use them, or like decide to put them into something and kind of play around play around with that and get better at sensory on that side.
Yeah.
For that kind of a thing, do you just do a hop grind? Do you do like I know we do like hop teas now and things like that, or what other ways do you use to kind of try out hops?
I actually just grind them up.
Okay, cool.
you can make a tea type thing, but I think you'll be better. I think you'll be better off just kind of sniffing them and smelling them.
Yeah, cool.
We're getting some really bad hops from South Africa lately, though. I can tell you that.
Oh
no,
not our South African friends. Come on. Do you guys use like sensory panels to make sure your beer's consistent from brew to brew? How do you do some QC in the brewery?
I think there's not really as many people to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like for how big our brewery is, I think we only have like 5 employees in the back.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy for like a 30 barrel system. Wow.
It should be. Yeah, there's probably gonna have to be another one here that gets added soon. But a lot of things, I would say a lot of things are just dependent on things that we notice and bring up to each other.
Yeah.
Like I'll take some notes on some stuff and be like, hey, we should try this out. We definitely tried a lot. Like in our house IPA, we tried out a lot of different, whether like malts or like the hop bill has always been fairly consistent. Kind of switch things around, but kind of try to change malt or like processes or what we do on that side a lot. So we've kind of tried some variables with that in our hazy IPAs as well.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, Craig. So where are you getting some inspiration for your beers?
So a lot of those are a lot of the beers that I like to make are based on something that I've had before or tried before, and kind of trying to, not necessarily replicate that, but make something similar to it. So the Belgian Stout in this case was based on a beer out of a brewery out of Belgium called Destroysa, and they made it's like one of the only barrel-aged Belgian stouts that I've had. So I kind of tried to like come up with something that was similar to that, or like a lot of kettle sours or traditional sours that we like put into foeders or something like that would be like maybe trying to mimic something that like I tried when I was at Kirkwood Stave or something like that.
Yeah. Where are you getting these beers? Like I've never even heard of a Belgian Stout. Where are you finding that?
I found it at a local liquor store 5 years ago, I think.
Cool,
like,
5 years ago. All right,
Yeah.
I'll get in my time machine.
Yeah.
It was always in the back of my mind, and I've never kind of had the opportunity to come up with something like that. So
Yeah, that's cool.
You mentioned earlier, your boss, quote unquote, he basically says yay or nay on some ideas. What's an idea that he said no on that you still to this day think would have been a great idea?
Ooh. I don't know, because it's mostly just things that it's like we already have too many hazy IPAs. We already have too many of this or too many of that. But he says yes to a lot, actually. I'm doing a kettle sour with like marionberries, marionberries, blueberries, blackberries, and coffee.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Some people, it gets a really good response from some people, and a really bad one from others.
Oh no.
But in terms of that beer, you kind of have to have it sweeter to not get like super roasty coffee.
Right.
So figure out a way of in fermentation to kind of make it a little sweeter, and I think it's going to be a lot more, palatable. Won't be as dry as some of the other sours.
I was gonna say, how do you balance all those flavors? You just try to make it a little sweet so it's not so roasty. Just like there's just so many crazy flavors in there. How do you make it taste good without being over the top and crazy?
So the other side to that is that you kind of, I think like using some types of like concentrates kind of give like a little bit more sharper, definitely obviously more acidic, but kind of give like a little bit more of that sticks around. So using like a balance of concentrates to puree as opposed to just using puree,
Gotcha.
I think will help you achieve that a lot better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to. We always see on Instagram people saying like the Midwest is known for like pickle beer. Is that actually like a thing in the Midwest, or is that just kind of like people
one brewery does this?
One brewery does like a pickle based beer, and
I've never heard of that before, but I know a lot of people that just take pickle shots,
like picklebacks.
Yeah, picklebacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Yeah.
That was like a thing. Like there's always someone that goes to a bar, or not always, but like I've had experiences of like, what are you doing right now? Like that sounds so gross.
Oh, it's really good actually. You should do it. Have you done it?
I like pickles, but not just like all the juice. I don't know if I like pickles that much, I guess is the point.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good on questions. Erica, you got any more?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no? Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
That's
We're great.
That's a Midwest thing.
What?
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah? No, yeah? Really?
Maybe we're secretly Midwesterns.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you just did it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
yeah, it means yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're good. We're no, yeah.
We're yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes.
So, Craig, thank you for doing this today. We want our listeners to make it out to the Chicago area and visit your brewery. So where are you guys physically located?
We're located in Schiller Park, Illinois, which is about 15 minutes from O'Hare Airport, and about 20 minutes from about 20 minutes from Chicago, about
Cool.
35 from downtown.
That's not bad.
And I do have a question, though.
Yeah.
Is the deep dish pizza worth the hype? And is the Chicago dog worth the hype?
Chicago dog, definitely.
Oh.
Deep dish pizza, I only like it from really one place, Lou Malnati's. But most Chicagoans, we like tavern style pizza.
Which
So, like,
is?
thin crust,
yeah.
Okay.
cut into squares.
Is it a sweet sauce?
Blasphemy.
Is it like a sweeter sauce?
No, not really. It's just kind of supposed to be like bar pizza type thing.
But just in
Yeah.
squares.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So if you're going out to Chicago, you need to get the tavern style pizza.
And what was the place that you recommended?
Lou Malnati's for deep dish is my favorite.
Okay.
They also have really good thin crust too. So.
Yeah. And then you said obviously Chicago dog throughout the world. It's
Throughout the world.
it's worth it.
Oh yeah. There's probably two of the best ones are within like 2 miles of the brewery too.
All right.
That's good to know.
Two
See?
at once.
Destination.
Sound guy Ryan, what do you think? We getting some dogs? Ryan's giving a big thumbs up behind the glass.
We're doing
and
it.
Where are you guys located on social media?
Should be at Short Fuse Brewing on Instagram and also Short Fuse Brewing on Facebook.
Great.
Easy enough.
And then we just have one last question for you.
Last
The
question.
best question.
What are you most proud of?
Not quitting at some point in time. And
Yay.
I guess, like there's definitely in packaging, there's a lot of those moments.
Oh my goodness, right?
You can just walk out the door at any time, you know that, right?
We'll find someone else to package the beer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's definitely an accomplishment for sure.
Well, Craig, thanks for doing this today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get another cellar hand that, has better expectations. And, I'm excited to see what's next for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Anytime.
No problem. Yeah. And we hope to make our way out to Chicago
Real
very
soon.
soon.
Oh, we'll see you soon.
So, Sound Guy Ryan, I think you got to cue out that outro. Before we do so, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, everyone. This is Ryan's least favorite portion of the podcast because I usually screw it up. But you know what? I'm going to do it right on the first time.
Hell yeah.
So, who do we have up next week?
We got Peter from Portsmouth Brewery.
That's right. They're celebrating 30 years of existence.
Well, they celebrated.
They already celebrated, but
But still, it's like a whole year of
listen,
celebration.
if you listen to the
right?
episode,
Come on.
he's like, I'm celebrating forever. Forever. Now, it's a lot of fun episode. You learn a lot of the history of Portsmouth Brewing, and you learn a lot about the area and just how passionate Peter is for the industry.
Yeah, I think it was a big history episode, like learning where he's been.
the beer industry in New England and in general.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And what just like amazing brewers have gone through Portsmouth Brewing. We interviewed the Tap a couple weeks ago. Todd Mott worked at the Tap. He's also worked at Portsmouth Brewing.
Yep.
So we won't spoil too much, but we have an amazing episode with them next week. So cheers.
Cheers.
Suck it, Ryan. One take, Matty D.